Good evening. We're here at the Venture Cafe. My name is Sky Flanagan. I'm here with Blonde Beauchamp. Would you like to introduce yourself, Blonde?
Good job at pronouncing my name. Yes, Blonde Beauchamp. Happy to be here as a Venture Cafe volunteer and a C3 member, guest, however you want to call it.
That's awesome. So, Blonde, tell me a little bit about your business.
So my business is it's called the Craic and Blonde, and it's
a great name.
So the Craic is spelled C-R-A-I-C. It's an Irish word for fun. It sort of expresses fun. It expresses good times. I was living in Ireland when I started the whole business plan on this Craic and Blonde business, which, by the way, is a Haitian food business. It's packaged foods that I sell through retailers like Formaggio's, Whole Foods, Whole Foods to come. It's a sealed deal,
Very
but
exciting.
It's not on the shelves yet. Yeah. And the product I'm now selling is called Pikliz, P-I-K-L-I-Z. It's a staple Haitian condiment. We use it like hot sauce. It's pickled vegetables and habanero peppers. It's good. It's delicious.
Making my mouth water just talking about it.
So the whole idea behind this, or I should say the inspiration, came while I was living in Ireland. I went to Ireland to do my MBA, and I was just sharing a lot of the foods I was making with my friends. They enjoyed it, and I knew I wanted to start a business, just didn't know what in at the time. But I don't know, I just had one of those eureka moments one night when I just said, well, of course it would have to be food. I love to cook, and I love my Haitian culture. And what I loved about my time in Ireland was my friends really embraced the Haitian culture. Anything I told them about the Haitian culture, they kind of just ate it up, literally, like with the food. So I started writing the business plans out while I was there and felt, maybe I should launch this in Ireland. But then I decided to come home. But what I could not leave out of the whole mix was the Craic. The Irish Craic, because I felt like with the inspiration coming from Ireland and all of the fun I had in Ireland, Ireland has become another home for me. I love the place, I love the people, and I love the fact that they embrace the Haitian culture. So it just made sense for me to name the business, or to have the brand name, the Craic, and my name Blonde. It's just an unexpected combination, but
it's a great name.
Thanks.
Such a great name. So, Blonde, I'm interested to hear more about your packaging and the sourcing of your food. Could you go into detail a little bit about that?
Packaging. I have my food in a jar, and I get that jar from a local business, which is very important to me. I try to keep things local. I use my labels I get printed by a local printer. The design on my label, I collaborated with a local graphic designer. He's wonderful. I try to keep it as local as possible.
To talk a little bit about your involvement with Venture Cafe. How did you hear about it? When did you get involved? If you could go into detail about that, it would be great.
I found out about the Venture Cafe. There was a lot of buzz about it when I came back home from Ireland. At first I was like, the cafe, MIT, I heard MIT, I heard Venture Cafe, I heard beer, I heard wine. I was like, what happens at this place? When do I go? But there was a huge delay. Like I got here and I didn't, like when I got back to Boston, I didn't immediately check out Venture Cafe, but a friend one night said, hey, let's go check out Venture Cafe. I was like, oh yeah, I keep hearing about that place and I want to figure out what happens there. She ended up bailing out that night, but I came by myself, which was so great. I mean, I had such an amazing time that night. I felt like I met millions of people in that one night. Venture Cafe crams, and it's like that clown car.
Yeah.
It seems like a small space. It's not a small space, but by the end of the night, when you think about the number of people you've met, it feels like you were in a clown car.
Yeah,
because you connect with a lot of people, and they were great connections. So. Yeah, that's how I heard about the Venture
And
Cafe.
how long ago was that?
That was, we're coming on a year. Yeah, it's almost my 1 year anniversary having met the Venture Cafe.
That's so wonderful. Speaking from personal opinion, we love having you in the community. And I was curious, do you feel like the Venture Cafe has opened up a lot of opportunities, and have you made a lot of meaningful connections that have helped with your business?
Well, I think within the first month, like to begin with, within the first month of me visiting the Venture Cafe, the newsletter came out that they were looking for more volunteers. And I was like, heck yeah, I want to be on their team. So I interviewed with Kevin and a couple other management and got on. I was so excited, and I talked about it a lot with my friends. I said, I'm going to be a volunteer with the Venture Cafe. They're such an awesome group of people. So that first connection was so amazing to me because I'm getting to know management, really well. Kevin is amazing. Nicole is amazing. You're amazing. I mean, everybody on the team. There's just this personality that everyone seems to carry. There's this level of passion that you can't measure the passion I think everyone has, but everyone has a passion in their field of work. Or it might not be work, it might be a hobby, but like bread, making bread, and the Cambridge Innovation Center, and then bringing it down to the Venture Cafe. Who does that, at this kind of networking event? But that just kind of shows the kind of passion everybody has here. So I love that. And some of the doors it's opened up for me, or like the conversations. I've met people like Bob Furlong.
Great guy.
Really great guy. I've met, I'm not going to keep dropping names, but I've met some really great people who are doing, who are experts in their fields and are able to offer really great advice. So like the office hours, meeting people who hold office hours here, and being able to have like some immediate access to them whenever I want to be able to ask a pressing question that I can't answer on my own, or I don't have the network to reach out and get an answer for. So I love that I have that immediate access to people, because this is like the same people keep coming through, and they're all really, really high quality people. So
it's really great. It is such an inspiring atmosphere to be in. So as a budding entrepreneur, what have been some of your biggest hurdles that you've had to jump over?
Well, I think the first thing is staying focused on a day-to-day basis. When you're working on your own, it's easy to get distracted and say, I can do that later. It's easy to pick up the phone when a friend calls and says, hey, going for some coffee now, what are you doing? I'm working on my business. Oh, but you could do that later. And then you kind of fall into the trap of doing that often. And then work gets delayed, or you end up working at 2 a.m. because you were having coffee that turned into dinner, that turned into just hanging out. That's a dangerous trap that I try to avoid now. Actually, I've gotten really disciplined, so.
Yeah, it seems like it. You've been cranking out those hot sauces left and right. Really, really delicious. So what are some of the unexpected lessons that you've learned as you've started this business?
Well, that I'm a quicker learner than I've always known I'm a quick learner, but there are things you need to learn on your own when you don't have the capital to outsource it, to outsource some of the services. Absolutely. That things that need to get done. I guess willpower, just things about myself that I figured out that I didn't realize were qualities of mine. Under pressure, I realized that there are just a lot of excellent things that I embody, I guess. And that's really exciting because it's like a self-discovery.
Yeah.
The whole thing about being an entrepreneur, I think, is self-discovery. Yeah. And it's exciting, so.
And how long have you been at the business now?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah. 1 year, technically, I guess.
Yes.
But I did about like several months before that, just doing like research.
Yeah, you definitely have made some serious strides. And to just kind of wrap up, I just wanted to get your advice that you would give to a young budding food entrepreneur as they enter into this world of unknowns. What would you advise them?
Food entrepreneurs, I think you really have to be passionate about what you're doing. If you're going to be a food entrepreneur, I think in tech, it's easy to put out a product that a customer needs and not be passionate about it. You're simply meeting a need. But when it comes to food, I think passion has to be behind it, because otherwise, I think it's hard to sell food if there's no passion behind it. I have met somebody in farmers markets, other vendors who have had products that they said they don't use themselves, and that just troubles me because I think if you're selling food, I mean, you should eat what you're making. Who's that CEO who said they eat their own dog food? I can't remember the CEO who said that, but
better be some good dog food.
I don't seriously. But yeah, no, if you're producing edible material, I mean, you know what I mean? Material sounds really wrong. That's the wrong word, but you know,
an edible product.
An edible product. It needs to be coming from the heart. For me, it's coming from the heart also because it's representing my Haitian culture, which is a big part of this for me. I definitely want people to know more about Haiti. I want more information spread on what the culture is like, what's our flavor, what's our flair, you know. So food is the gateway in that respect for me. So passion. Just have passion.
Well, Blonde, it absolutely sounds like you have the passion, you've got the love, and I really respect the fact that you are spreading such positive vibes.
Haitian love. I'm spreading the Haitian love.
Spreading the Haitian loves. And I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
and your
Guy.
commitment to the community. You're definitely a very special person and a great product.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.